Welcome to our session on instructional strategies, and today we're diving into project-based learning. I'm your host, Adrienne Wallace, where we dive into the real stories behind education technology, teaching, and everything in between. Today, I'm joined by some incredible educators and leaders who have seen PBL transform their classrooms, sometimes beautifully, sometimes unexpectedly, and sometimes in ways that made them rethink everything. Joining me today are two experts, Mr. Pollard and Mr. Cleveland. Before we jump into today's topic, can you guys please introduce yourselves and tell us what you teach or your role on campus?
Hello, my name is Mark L. Pollard Sr., and I am proud to call New Orleans, Louisiana my home. With 18 years of experience in the field of education, I have dedicated my career to fostering student growth and success. Currently, I serve as an internship teacher at Terra High School, where I guide students in gaining practical, hands-on experience in their chosen career paths. In addition to my teaching role, I also hold the position of department head for the CATE department. In this capacity, I ensure that our programs align with industry standards and work collaboratively with colleagues to create enriching educational opportunities for our students in various technology and career fields.
Hello, my name is Corey Cleveland. My hometown is Pineville, Louisiana, and I currently live in Baton Rouge. I teach Speech 1 at Terra High School in the 9th grade academy. I'm also a school counseling intern.
Thank you guys for those great introductions. Now let's dive right into our topic today. When you hear the term project-based learning, what does it mean to you in your classroom?
When I hear the term project-based learning, I envision a dynamic and engaging educational approach that emphasizes hands-on, creative instruction. This method encourages students to work collaboratively, fostering teamwork and communication skills as they engage in meaningful projects. Throughout the learning process, students actively explore real-world problems or challenges, applying critical thinking and problem-solving skills. The culmination of their efforts is a final product, whether it's a presentation, a physical prototype, or a written report that showcases their understanding and mastery of the subject matter. This approach not only deepens their knowledge, but also nurtures a sense of ownership and pride in their work, making learning both relevant and enjoyable.
When I hear about project-based learning, I immediately think of students with various skills and perspectives.
Awesome. Thank you so much for those brilliant responses. Here's my next question. Can you walk us through a project you did this year? That really felt like project-based learning, not just a regular project, but something deeper.
One project this year that truly reflected project-based learning was our Career Readiness Internship project. Students chose a career path based on their interests and completed real-world activities such as creating a resume, participating in mock interviews, and learning workplace professionalism. Throughout the project, students worked in teams, researched their chosen careers, met deadlines, and solved problems they might face in a real job. The project lasted several weeks and included feedback and reflection along the way. The final product was a career portfolio and presentation that showed both their knowledge and important skills like communication, teamwork, and responsibility. This project felt deeper than a traditional assignment because students took ownership of their learning and clearly saw how the work connected to life after high school.
One of the most exciting projects we tackled this year was our school redesign project. Our students didn't just jump into drawing. They took the opportunity to learn about the school's layout and its history. From there, they began to create a vision of what our school could be, a space designed for the future of learning. It was powerful to see them take ownership of their environment and dream big for their community.
What was the big question or real-world problem your students were trying to solve?
The central question my students grappled with was how to transition successfully into the workforce after high school. To address this, they focused on pinpointing career paths that aligned with their personal interests and strengths. This process involved extensive research and self-reflection to explore various industries and job roles. In addition to selecting a career, students recognized the importance of acquiring a diverse set of skills. They focused on developing both technical skills related to their chosen fields and soft skills such as communication, teamwork, and problem-solving. Moreover, they sought to understand professional expectations that employers have in real-world settings, including punctuality, work ethic, adaptability, and effective collaboration with diverse teams. By preparing comprehensively, students aim to ensure they were not only job-ready, but also capable of thriving in their future careers.
In my class, the students found issues within our school that contributed to safety hazards, attendance issues, and lowered student morale. Therefore, they came up with new ideas to redesign the school, turning those challenges into opportunities for growth. It's amazing to see them take ownership of their environment and work towards a safer, more positive school culture.
Wow, that's powerful. Let's keep it going with this next question. Every teacher I've talked to has that one project, the one where everything clicked. The moment students took ownership and the classroom energy shifted. What was it for you guys? Mr. Cleveland, let's start with you.
Sure, what I noticed was whenever the students got a chance to brainstorm and have their voices heard through the project, they immediately took ownership and were ready to begin looking for solutions. The energy shifted, especially whenever I asked for evidence. It was interesting to see them provide photos and show how the environment played a crucial role in their motivation towards the work and their educators.
For me, it was the Career Readiness Internship project. That was the moment everything clicked. Students stopped asking, "Is this for a grade?" and started asking real questions about their future. Jobs, careers, and next steps after high school. They took ownership by choosing career paths that matched their interests, holding each other accountable in group work, and taking pride in their final portfolios and presentations. The classroom energy shifted because the work felt real to them, and they could clearly see how what they were learning applied beyond the classroom.
Really nice. That's exactly what listeners need to hear. So here's my next question. How did you set your students up for success? Were there checkpoints, mini lessons, or resources that made the project feel manageable for them?
I structure my projects by breaking them into clear phases, each with its own checkpoint to ensure students stay on track. For example, early checkpoints might include career research and resume drafts, followed by mock interviews and workplace skill exercises. I use short mini-lessons to teach specific skills needed for each phase, like professional communication or portfolio building. I also provide support such as templates, examples, and rubrics so students know what's expected. Regular feedback and reflection opportunities help students adjust their work and stay engaged throughout the project.
My projects are structured around a clear project path with defined phases. Each phase has a specific purpose and a tangible outcome, so students always know what they're working toward. Checkpoints include need-to-know question reviews and research synthesis checks. We also incorporate draft design critiques and peer feedback protocols throughout the process. Plus, we have regular reflection and collaboration check-ins to keep everyone aligned. Mini lessons are strategically placed right when common challenges emerge or before a new phase begins. Rather than teaching everything up front, I use just-in-time instruction, so learning feels immediately applicable. To help students stay on track, I provide rubrics, daily goals, progress reminders, and team contracts. Everything is backed by consistent, formative feedback to ensure every student succeeds in their project journey.
Such meaningful answers. They connect perfectly to my next question, which is, how did you actually assess the projects? Rubric, formative assessments, checkpoints?
For me, assessments were ongoing and multifaceted. I used a standards-aligned rubric that students had access to throughout the project, which guided both instruction and student decision-making.
I conducted a comprehensive assessment of the project by integrating various evaluation methods, including detailed rubrics, ongoing formative assessments, and structured checkpoint reviews. Each phase of the project was accompanied by clearly defined criteria, which encompassed important aspects such as the quality of research conducted, the effectiveness of teamwork dynamics, and the development of professional skills. To ensure consistency and fairness in grading, I utilized a rubric that outlined specific performance levels for each criterion. During the process, formative assessments played a crucial role in enhancing student learning. I implemented draft reviews and encouraged peer feedback sessions that allowed students to reflect on their work and make necessary improvements before the final submission. This collaborative feedback approach not only fostered a supportive learning environment, but also empowered students to take ownership of their progress. Moreover, I established checkpoints at strategic intervals throughout the project timeline. These checkpoints were designed to help students stay on track with their goals and deliverables, while providing me with valuable opportunities to offer guidance and support.
Good stuff. And then there's the technology piece. Technology is truly a game changer for student projects. Digital tools like Google Classroom keep everything organized, while Canva lets students unleash their creativity with professional-grade design. For interactive learning, CodePen brings coding to life, and Nearpod keeps every student engaged with real-time participation. And then there's VR, literally taking projects to another world and making the experience feel real for students. Which of these tools have leveled up your classroom? Let's dive into how we can make learning more authentic together.
The students' smartphones were a big part of the project because students were able to measure their spaces and use online resources to find the correct material they needed to complete their vision.
Technology played a big role in making the project feel real for students. We used Google Classroom to organize assignments, share resources, and track progress. Canva helped students create professional-looking resumes, presentations, and portfolio materials. For collaboration and research, students used Google Docs and slides to work together in real time. These tools not only made the project more engaging, but also gave students skills they will use in the workplace, like digital communication, design, and organization.
All right, guys, real talk. What advice would you give a teacher who's nervous about trying PBL for the first time?
I think PBL is a collaborative project that one teacher should not do alone. That's just me, though. I would advise to first find a partner who can help co-facilitate it. If it is something to be done alone, remember to allow yourself grace to learn along with the students. It helps to know what exactly the student's end goal is. Otherwise, if the boundaries are not clear in the beginning, confusion can become chaos.
To succeed with project-based learning, start small with a manageable scope. Emphasize the learning process rather than perfection. Choose a project that ties into your curriculum and resonates with students' passions. This alignment fosters engagement and motivation. Once chosen, break the project into smaller, digestible steps with clear checkpoints to monitor progress. This prevents students from feeling overwhelmed and builds a sense of accomplishment. Utilize tools like rubrics for clear expectations. Incorporate mini-lessons to provide the necessary scaffolding for student learning. Remember, you don't need all the answers. Let students take ownership of their learning. Encourage peer collaboration to enhance problem solving. This creates a richer learning environment for everyone. Foster an environment where students feel safe to experiment, make mistakes, and learn from their experiences.
Thank you guys so much for sharing your expertise and those powerful classroom examples. Your insight really helps educators see what effective practice looks like in real time. To summarize PBL, it's a great instructional strategy when it's done right. A game changer. It turns your students from passive listeners into active problem solvers. But let's be real. Although PBL is great, it also has its pitfalls that we need to avoid. If you aren't careful, you can hit cognitive overload. But this is where those 5 to 10-minute micro-lessons strategies come into play. Key takeaways about PBLs are: number 1, focus on the problem. Ask yourself the question, what is the problem that needs to be solved? Secondly, break it down into manageable mini-lessons to scaffold the technical stuff. Don't let the tech get in the way of your thinking. And lastly, use frequent checkpoints. Don't wait until the final presentation to find out a student is lost. All right, guys, thank you again. I truly appreciate all of you for tuning in. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're taking a deeper look at project-based learning through the eyes of school leadership. I'm joined by our principal, Mr. Heyman, who will share an administrator's perspective on how project-based learning supports student growth, teacher innovation, and meaningful learning. Hello, Mr. Heyman. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me today about project-based learning. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and jump right into the interview. My first question is, as an administrator, when you walk into a classroom that's doing true PBL, what does it look like or feel like to you?
Project-based learning looks like organized chaos for an administrator observing the class. Students are generally highly motivated, especially if they are given choices in how they may complete the project. My favorite part of any PBL activity is seeing students work on their final product. They take pride in their work, especially when they know others are looking at.
What do you think schools need to make PBL sustainable? Time, PDs, teacher collaboration?
To make PBL sustainable, schools need central office support. Projects don't follow pacing calendars, and sometimes central office personnel see projects as a waste of instructional time. Nothing could be further from the truth, but sometimes educators believe in a one-size-fits-all approach, and this makes PBL impossible. You rarely see core teachers use PBL for this reason. They have to follow a scripted curriculum, and there is little to no room for student voice or student choice in how things are done.
Such a meaningful point. Here's my last question. What's one example of PBL you've seen that made you think, we need more of this here at Tara?
I once observed a project at Bel Air High School where students decided to create a new design for the neighborhood park that was located by the school. The students used the park daily, so they had great ideas on how to make it better. They used CAD software to create a 3D design of the park's features. And they even presented their ideas to the Board for Recreation and Park Commission for the parish of East Baton Rouge. This is what authentic, sustainable PBL looks like in action.
That sounds like an amazing project, and I'm sure your students really enjoyed the experience. Well, that wraps it up for today's interview. Thank you again, Mr. Heyman, for taking the time to share your insight and perspectives today. Your leadership and support play such an important role in bringing project-based learning to life here at Tara High. I truly appreciate your time.
Sure, no problem. And remember, Tara strong all day long.
Thanks for tuning in to the EdTech Classroom. I'm Adrienne Wallace, and I appreciate you joining me for today's interview. I hope you'll join me again in the next segment.